Hello everyone and welcome. Now on today's video we're going to be making two very different looking cards with the same collection of product. This is a new release from Spellbinders. It is called Poppy Song is the collection. And I have got the Leaf and Bloom, I'm trying to get it to where we can read the name, die set here, and there are 8 cutting dies with it, and these cut out 3 different florals that they look like the poppy flower, and you've got 3 different stems, and then you've got a leaf set. We've also got the Favorite Song 3D embossing folder, and I'm going to grab some black cardstock here, and this is one of the panels that I'm going to emboss is some of the Spellbinders black cardstock, and we're going to use it. And we're going to also bring in some new dies from Spellbinders, and these are called Playful Stitched Panels, and they are actually part of this collection. And you've got 5 cutting dies, one of them is a tag. And also included in the collection is the Petal Burst stencil, and this looks much like a poppy. And I'm going to bring in the sentiment set. There's a set, they're called, the collection is essentially yours. We're actually going to use the thank you sentiment and the happy birthday sentiment on our cards. But there's also get well soon, best wishes, congrats, hello friend, thinking of you as well. Now I have done all of my die cutting, and I used color wheel cardstock from Spellbinders, and I did use the poppy color for this. Now, this very much kind of reminded me of when I was a child, and we would go to the grocery store and we would get these poppy flowers and, for like a donation. And so as I was thinking about that, I thought I'm going to look it up and just kind of see, the details on that. And I found just off of the internet, the small red paper and wire poppy flowers were often distributed at grocery stores around Memorial Day. And they were known as remembrance poppies or buddy poppies. And they were handed out by veterans and volunteers to raise donations for veteran services and to honor fallen service members. The purpose was the donations that were collected were used to support disabled, hospitalized, and active duty veterans and their families. And the red poppy was a symbol of sacrifice, and I guess it was inspired by the World War I poem In Flanders Fields, which describes flowers growing on battlefields in France and Belgium. Now, I did get all this off the internet, and it says who makes them. In the U.S., many of these poppies are handmade by disabled or hospital veterans. So I thought that was interesting, and I wanted to share because I remember, and I'm not sure when the last time was I saw these be distributed. I'm going to be looking out for them. It says around Memorial Day, and then in Canada on Remembrance Day. And so I'm going to be kind of keeping my eye out to see if this is something that still is occurring. I remember as a child every year, my dad, many times when we would go, he would have them and give them to us. And I do remember getting my own as well. But it's been a while since I've seen these, but I just saw this product and it just kind of gave me a little walk down memory lane, and I just thought I would share that with you. So I am just assembling these, and I'm putting the stems on the top. I saw Tina Smith do it. Usually I would put them on the back, but I thought, I'll give it a try. The one stem actually fits on the kind of the bud part of the bottom of the flower, and we just attached it there. And then I've just used some, oh gosh, what color is that? I think that's saffron that I used to die cut the, actually no it's not, it's Tuscan. I used Tuscan for the yellow centers, poppy red for the floral, and then for the green, I think I used fern for that. And that is all Spellbinders cardstock that I die cut them out with. And I'm using the new tools that were just released. I've got the wax tool. I also had the pick tool. I was using it to pick out the bits between my sentiments when we get on to the next part of the video. But so we've got 3 little poppy flowers, and we've got a kind of a leafy embellishment there, and we are just going to use these to create our card. So I'm going to bring in just, it's a tri-blend marker, and I'm just going to add some specks to these, just some black dots. They're actually kind of a charcoal gray dot, just kind of around the center of the flower, just to give it a little bit more detail. You don't necessarily need to do this, but I did add some just little specks to it. And so I'm just going to do each one of them and just kind of go around the center of the flower and just add a little bit more interest. And then I'm going to try and figure out how I want to cluster them on my card. And I think I want this taller one in the middle, and then just kind of put our little leafy on there. And I actually will turn it around a little bit when I get my card together. So I'm just going to bring in a side folding card base. This is A2 size, and we're going to use it. And I did take that die set, the Playful Stitch panels, and I die cut out white, and I die cut out vellum, and I took my Raven black cardstock from Spellbinders, and I used the embossing folder on it, and I embossed the favorite song embossing folder. It is 3D, and it makes some good detail on there. Now, if you really wanted it to pop, you could probably run just a white ink pad over it and kind of, you know, have the details pop out. But it's a 3D embossed panel. It's got great dimension, and I just didn't feel the need to add anything else to it. And we're just going to layer the white panel and the vellum panel up. I'm going to position all of my poppies and their stems and the leaves on here, and just figure out how I want to lay them down. And I like the red, white, and black together. I think it looks really pretty. Red is my favorite color. And we're just going to position these on here and then figure out how we're going to add the leaves. So I decide to just flip them over, and we're going to add just some 1 millimeter black foam squares onto these, and that'll help me to get them to lay down on my vellum without making a big bunch of mess on there. And so I'm going to bring the pick tool in, and this is one of the new craft tools, and use it to get these little squares laid down on there. And I could have used the white foam squares because they are laying on a white panel, but you won't see them at all because, like I said, they're just a real low dimension. It's like 1 millimeter or whatever, so it's not a lot of bulk, but it does give you a little bit of dimension, so it'll meld very nicely with that. And then we'll get these laid down on there. And I thought, well, I could just, you know, get the floral piece on there and get it laid down. And then I'm going to use my sentiment to lay across the stems, and then that will secure them. And then we'll also add that little leafy bit there as well. And you can see I've got more space on the left side, so I decide to just lay that leafy bit on the left side and kind of fill in that open space that's on there. And I'll just put a little bit of glue on the back of it and get it laid down on there. And we've got a really pretty thank you card. Now, I wanted to make a happy birthday card because I'm in need of happy birthday cards, but I just felt like kind of the story of the poppy and, you know, the fact that, you know, they collected money for the veterans services. And so I thought, you know, thank you. Thank you for your service, and thank you for donating the money to the cause. Anyway, so that was my thought with this. So I'm just going to dab some glue behind my florals and my leaves so that I can get this vellum to lay down on there. Excuse me, I am fighting with allergies, and we'll get this laid down on our white panel. And I think it's really pretty. Red just pops off of that white. Just trying to get it lined up carefully and get it pushed down on there. And then we're going to bring in, I've got thank you, and we're just going to lay it down on some more of that poppy cardstock. So I've got the black, and I'm just going to put some little dabs of glue on there. I did fill up my glue bottle, so I'm not struggling with glue as I have been in the last few videos. We've got a full bottle. So I'm just dotting some on there, just trying to keep it as clean as I can, and then we'll get it laid down on our shadow. And this, I think I left most of this in real time. I'm going to do some ink blending on the next card, and I will speed that up. We are dog sitting, so the dogs are barking in the background. I apologize for that. But anyway, beside speeding up the ink blending, I think this is pretty much in real time. So I got, I don't know, I probably got both these cards done in, I think it was about 33 minutes the footage was, so not bad at all. And, you know, we don't have a lot of pieces here, so it wasn't too difficult with all the die cutting and everything. The stenciling, we're going to die cut out some more florals for the next card along with the stencil panel as well. But just going to get this laid down on there. I like this playful panel. I think it's a great addition to your nested sets. There are 5 of them, with the smallest one being a tag that has a hole punched in the top of it. And so I just feel like it's really a great addition to your nested die sets. I love nested dies, love using them. So I'm going to get my thank you laid down on here. I'm just going to glue it down and kind of lay it over my stems. It laid pretty well over them, and it worked out just fine. And I'm just going to rearrange my leaves a little bit, trying to get them in there. And then we will bring in some embellishments, and we'll get to embellishing this card. And I've just got some black gems from Spellbinders, and we're just going to use several of those to embellish our card. I'm going to lay actually a small one down on the centers of each of the poppies, and then we'll add some more just to add some decorative elements to our card. So I've got some teeny tiny ones, and so I'm just adding them on the center of the poppy, and then we'll add some extra ones to the card. I kind of remember, they almost felt kind of crepey, like had a crepe texture to the poppies that we would get. And then they always had a little tag on them as well. And I think it said remember, something like that. I'm not sure, I don't really quite recall. But so we're going to lay 3 black ones in the upper right and 2 small black ones on the lower left. And that's going to finish off our red and black card. So we'll just take a quick look at it. I think it's really pretty. Kind of clean. It's a clean card. And our next one's not going to be as clean. So I've got my waffle flower mat, sped this up. Apologize. You can slow it down if you need to. But I did speed this up so that we wouldn't be ink blending forever. And I'm taking my blending brushes and I'm cleaning the ink off of them because I've used them a lot lately. And I did that intentionally because we're going to die cut out of those panels. And we're going to have those colors for our die cut pieces. So I've got Sponge Sugar, Kitsch Flamingo, and Seedless Preserves. This is a new favorite color palette that I've been using together. Since I got Seedless Preserves, that was a new purchase, and I really like it. And I think it works well with these colors. So the first layer I did Sponge Sugar, and then for the next 2 layers, I used the Kitsch Flamingo. And then for the outer edge of our florals here, I'm going to use the Seedless Preserves and just lay it down. And it's quite a bit darker, and it adds a nice pop. And you can see that. And then 2 layers of it, 2 stencils do the surrounding edge of the flower. And we've got a beautiful panel. And then for the final stencil layer, I'm going to bring in mustard seed, and we're going to do the centers of the flowers with that. I did kind of clean off my mat there just so I wouldn't drag any purple into my my centers of my flowers. And then that will finish it off. Isn't it pretty? Very pretty. Now I'm cleaning those brushes again and just adding some ink to this, and then I die cut all of our flowers out. Now I did emboss in the white, and I did assemble my flowers. I went ahead and used the playful stitch panel and cut that stenciled down, the stenciled area down, and we're going to layer it up. And I die cut all of those florals out of that panel that I was cleaning my brushes on so that they would match very nicely with our background. And I almost hated to cover up the stenciled background because once I get all the flowers on there, you can't see as much that there are flowers, but I just thought it would be pretty to have some more of these poppy or looking flowers laid down on here, and I chose to use the white stems and the white leaves just so that we'd have kind of predominantly a lot of white on there on our background panel, and just make it, you know, have a lot of white. So I'm just going to position all of these florals and leaves down on here. And then we've got a happy birthday sentiment that I used the shadow and die cut out of that panel that I cleaned the blending brushes on, and it makes a fun little panel. And I got to tell you guys, I have had to pause so many times to kind of cough and clear my throat. Ever since I had that influenza B, I just have not completely gotten over kind of the coughing of it. It's just ridiculous how long it hangs on. And last year, Pat had kind of a illness, like similar thing, where it hung on as well. So, and he told me, he goes, remember when I had it? He goes, you're going to have it for a while. I don't know that he had that particular strain because I don't think he ever tested for it. But when I went in after, I don't know how many weeks I'd had it and finally got tested, they said it was influenza B. So I don't know. My little niece got sick, and she said she tested positive for influenza A and B. So I don't know. A lot of stuff going around. Just glad that I'm feeling better, but I'm annoyed that I'm continuing to cough and have to kind of use cough drops or some kind of a mint or something to just, I don't know if I'm, now that I've had this, if I'm developing allergies. I've never really had allergies, and I generally don't catch the bug. But anyway, so apologize for the scratchy voice and the interrupted voiceover, but we're going to get all these florals tucked down in there. And I probably have more than I need. I'm reserving one for the inside of the card because I am trying to decorate insides of the cards as I go along with some of the product. But so we'll just continue to lay these down on there. And like I said, this is real time, so it might look slow because a lot of times I will speed it up to 1.5 times, but I didn't today. So I'm just going to get this positioned on there. I think it's really pretty that, you know, that we've got the die cut pieces that actually match the stenciled panel as well. Just everything's real matchy. Now the two cards don't really photograph well together because we've got stark contrast of colors, but I think it turned out pretty nice. So we'll finish up getting these laid down on there, and then we will decorate the inside of our card. So here we are, we've got everything laid down on there, and then I've got my happy birthday sentiment. I didn't have any glue on this leaf, so we'll get this leaf laid down on there, and then we will add our happy birthday sentiment, and we are going to have a happy birthday card. I am needing some happy birthday cards, so I thought it'd be a good opportunity. And with that new sentiment from the Essentially Yours sentiments, we've got a beautiful happy birthday. Now, I will tell you, I didn't assemble it on here, but you've got the hap and the birthday connected. There's a separate P and a separate Y, and the straight line part of the B is separate too, so you need to keep track of those. And I did use the negative to help me get the P and the Y that are not attached laid down on there correctly, and I would recommend that. Keep your negative piece, lay down your hap birthday, and then use your negative to lay over it, and then put the PPY down, and then add that straight line on the B, and then it'll come together nicely. So I've got this extra flower here. Just going to add it to the inside of my card, and then we'll get this laid down on here, and then we are going to bring in some cinnamon or some embellishments and put them on the outside of the card as well. So I'm just going to get my floral laid in there. I think it'll be a nice surprise when they open the card and they see the extra little flower on the inside there. I think it looks really pretty. And then we'll grab some gems from Spellbinders and get them laid down on our card. Again, I'm going to put some gems in the centers of all the florals, and we've got 5 of those, and we'll just get our kind of our sparkle and our shine from that. And I'm just laying down what I've got. There are actually 2 types of gems on this, and I'm trying to do the same ones on all of them. And then give it a good press. And then that'll pretty much finish off this card. So let's bring in both of our cards. We've got our red poppy and our pink one, and I've taken some pictures so that you can get a good look at them. I think the red and the black and the white really look nice together. And then we've got our stenciled panel with our die cut pieces. If you enjoyed the video, consider hitting the like. Thanks for watching.